in my circle? Who the one who be the snakes? Who gon' fold up under pressure? Who gon' understand the stakes? Who gon' wait to get they food to try to take from off my plate? Who the love? Who gon' understand I'm hurt? Who gon' love me unconditionally and try to make it work? Who gon' party once I'm gone and shed a tear once I'm in dirt? I ain't asking for too much, I'm trying to understand my worth.
Welcome to the next episode of Give Me My Crown podcast.
Give Me My Crown podcast.
And we back at y'all with week 6 of the college football recap. And this week was wild.
Was it, boy? It was real. It was a real week.
This was the week of upsets.
Look, I called one of them last week.
Let's start with that one.
Hey, look, man. It wasn't really a game. I knew that Texas A&M's offense was legit.
Yes, and they blew up Missouri by 31 points. Because I know you texted me yesterday and said I called them. I'm like, what you talking about? I looked at the score. They was up 20-some points.
Yeah, man.
I'm like, dang.
Offense is for real. Yep.
Yeah, so that was a good game. Another one, what other games was blowout? Georgia obviously beat Auburn. They beat them 13-31.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, like I said, they won.
Yep.
Ole Miss beat South Carolina. I think Ole Miss needed that bounce back win, though.
We did, but we in the SEC. We missing somebody right now. We know he doing some good work out there, but I'm just saying he missing when the L happened.
And y'all know, and obviously, I think y'all know who we talking about. Game last night, Alabama goes down to Vanderbilt. Man, I don't even know what to say about that.
Now we're gonna talk about it later. The rankings ain't reflecting the loss.
No, I definitely don't think so. I do think it was a good game. Alabama almost made a comeback at the end, but then once Vanderbilt got the ball back, they kind of just held it.
Yeah, yep.
Which I think, it was definitely smart on their end. Once again, Ryan Williams making acrobatic catches on the side. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Keep throwing the ball.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was it was Vanderbilt's first win against a number one team.
It was, man, ever.
So that in itself is just it's crazy.
Historic, man.
Yes. What other games did we have yesterday? I don't think we've hit on this topic before. Syracuse lost to UNLV.
Yes.
UNLV is making you wonder now, was their quarterback the reason they was winning?
Evidently not. He could have been. It's a team as a whole, man.
Because the first game they are without their quarterback, is this the first or second game they're without him? Okay. But yeah, UNLV, obviously their quarterback and the school had some contract issues with NIL deals.
Yeah.
So he won the first 4 games of the season as the starter.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden say, hey, y'all don't want to live up to y'all's end of the deal, I'm redshirting.
Yep. And
redshirted and sitting out the rest of the year. Yeah. It's crazy that players can do stuff like that now.
That's a good thing, though, man.
But, I mean, it is what it is.
I like it. You don't pay my bread on a red shirt. Like, I love it.
I mean, because I guess from the school standpoint, if you promise this man something, like at least live up to your end of the deal.
$1,000, man. He needs his bread.
Yeah, I mean, at least because obviously there's probably other schools that they offered them some money to come to their school. And if you're going to do that, if that's what happened, obviously we don't know what happened. But if that is what happened, at least live up to your end of the deal.
He said they ain't giving his money, so he won't gonna play for him. I like it.
Yeah. Who else? Iowa or Ohio State won. It'd be Iowa. Iowa's not in the rankings anymore.
Yeah.
Ohio State obviously still looking dominant. Big Ten players ready to come up.
Hold up, man. We've been giving Ryan Williams a lot of love. We ain't giving number 4 on Ohio State enough love.
Yeah, Jeremiah Smith, he's been killing. He's been killing, man. I think he was overshadowed by their running backs.
That's true. Yep.
I think which could be a good thing for him, because when it comes time with these big games, when they need to throw the ball, and if you're so focused on the running backs, then that's going to leave him open.
he had one of the biggest catches I've seen of the year. Man went out here one-handed.
Yeah, the one-handed catch. That was a good catch.
Yep.
That was a great catch. Who else? Boise State. We hadn't talked about them a lot. Boise State is undefeated.
Yep.
I don't know who they're playing, but their running back is getting off.
Hey, man. As a team, Boise State is that team to me. They always play as a team. Like, I know every team should do it, but I'm saying, like, they fight for every yard. They fight for every inch. They out there playing together.
They do. And because they're not really Boise State, ever since they had what's our boy's name? He was y'all's he was y'all's offensive coordinator for the longest. Kellen Moore.
Yeah.
Ever since they had him, the team with him kind of put them on the map.
Yeah.
And they've been they haven't been the greatest team every year, but they've had consistent seasons for the most part.
Yeah, I agree.
And then even with this year, you got Ashton Genty. Yesterday, 13 carries, 186 yards.
Yeah.
With 3 touchdowns.
Yep.
I think we talk about Heisman race a lot. We're not putting him up there. We haven't put him up there yet, and I think he's up there.
Nah.
He's at least up there.
Nah.
He definitely is.
Nah. If it was a top 20, he'd be in there, but nah.
He's top 10 easily.
What?
He's top 10.
Who you putting him over top of?
Have you not seen the season he's having?
He having a good year, but who they playing?
I'm saying that's besides the point. I'm talking about the season he's having.
I'm talking just straight numbers. I got you. Okay.
I'm talking about the season he's having.
Okay.
Who else won? Penn State won yesterday. They played who they play? UCLA.
Is
UCLA.
overrated.
You said they're overrated?
Yeah.
I mean, that's your opinion.
That's my opinion. You know where this come from? We had this kind of debate. Like, their defense. Go ahead and say your line. Defense is what?
Their defense is one of the top in the country.
Okay.
And they have one of the best run games in the country. I know you always say their pass game is kind of shabby, and I agree. Their pass game is not the best. Yeah. But when you got 2 good running backs, you don't have to have a great passing game.
But what are they going to do, though? We know what's going to happen.
What?
They're going to get in the big game and think they can outscore teams and start throwing the ball. It's going to happen.
I mean, well, so we're ready to see now because it's ready to come. Because their schedule from here on out is Big Ten. I think they have to play Minnesota. They got to play Ohio State. So the Big Ten games are ready to come. So I think that's going to get interesting for a lot of teams.
Oregon is steadily winning too.
Oregon, they beat Michigan State yesterday. Michigan State is
always
we ain't talked about them in a while.
Stop hating.
Tennessee lost. Which
it was a good game though.
It was a good game.
Yeah.
Michigan lost.
For some reason, let's go back there real quick. For some reason, I don't know why. I was happy to see Tennessee lose. I don't know why. For life of me, I wanted to see them lose.
Tennessee is because their defense plays good. Their offense, because remember at the beginning of the season, we were saying their offense is top notch, but now they're playing these teams with good defenses, and their defense is keeping them in these games.
That's true. Not offense, but defense. You're right.
Yes, they did. Because who else? Miami won. Miami barely won. Miami had to come back from 20 down in the fourth quarter.
You know what though? I've been giving Miami a hard time though. I watched that game, and Cam Ward showed a different gear in that game. I've been wanting to see him play a certain way. I think in the game, I got to see him like, okay, my back against the wall. If I don't step up, we gonna lose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I saw that and I was like, okay, this is what I want to see out of him.
437 yards yesterday.
Yeah, bro. I'm saying he balled out. He did.
Like, that's crazy.
Yep.
And was there any other big games? Iowa State beat Baylor. Colorado didn't play yet. Colorado had a bye week this week, so they didn't play this week.
Clemson played.
Clemson did play. Who did Clemson beat?
Man,
Clemson did. We didn't even talk about that game.
I kept saying it, trying to bait you into it.
We're not even talking about that game. I don't even know if Florida State is relevant this year.
Hey, look, man, Florida State played good for a little bit of the game.
Florida State's record is 1-5, and they started the season at number 3. What did they start at number 3?
They were top 10. I know top 10 for sure.
I want to say I think they were 3.
Okay.
Which is crazy because they have fell all the way off.
Yeah.
What was there any? I know, like I said, I know Colorado didn't play as. It's about to get interesting for Colorado too because they got Kansas State next week.
Yes,
And Kansas State is ranked in the top 20.
Team, boy. Yeah, Kansas State gonna be a tough matchup.
They're like I said, they're ranked in the top 20, so that's gonna be a that's definitely gonna be a test for them.
Yeah.
So let's go over the rankings.
Let's go over. Let's do it.
So hold on, let me actually pull the rankings up so I don't
got it right here. I got it right here.
Let's see.
Texas is the new number one.
Which Texas was number one before last week before Georgia lost.
All right. Ohio State.
So Texas jumps back up. Ohio State's number 2.
Oregon, 3.
Oregon's number 3. Then you got Penn State at 4.
Hold on. Oregon been quietly doing their thing, man. People ain't talking about Oregon.
They have. But the thing about Oregon that happens every year, Oregon always loses in big games.
And listen, man, this is gonna be a different year. Justin say this the year. So I'm gonna rock with Justin. Justin say it's the year.
He said this is the year for what?
I guess they're gonna win it.
Okay. The best chance they had is when they lost to Cam Newton's Auburn team.
Okay, all right.
You got Georgia at number 5.
We already talked Penn State. We can skip them. Yeah, go ahead.
Penn State number 4. Do you think Miami should have been above Georgia?
No.
Why? Because of competition?
Yes.
Okay. Alabama number 7. That's shocking to me.
Nope.
That they stayed in the top 10.
We're gonna stay here. They lost to an unranked team.
That's shocking to me that they stayed. That's shocking to me that they stayed in the top 10 because look at Michigan. Michigan was ranked number 10. Michigan lost and dropped 14 spots.
14 spots.
And I understand who Alabama has played, but you lost to an unranked team that has not beaten a ranked team ever. They're like 0-6, or not ranked team. Sorry, they have not beaten number 1 teams, and they're 0-60 against number 1 teams, and you go in there and lose.
You know why?
Because of Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama, and people they want that money in the college football playoffs.
Yes, you got Tennessee at number 8. Ole Miss jumps back up to number 9.
That's a big thing, though.
Huh?
Oh man, that's a big. They were like what last week? Like 15?
No, they dropped to 12 last week.
Oh, 12 to 9. All right.
They dropped to 12. Clemson back up in the top 10. After that one loss to Georgia, they've turned it around, but they're about to come into some interesting games because yesterday they played Florida State.
Stop it.
So when they start playing the Virginia Techs, Miami's, teams like that, then it's going to be interesting.
Tech is that team this year, man. I find myself like drawn to watching Tech, like
because they're in every game. They just can't pull out the win.
Yep.
I don't know. Did they win yesterday?
I watched some of the game. I ain't finished the game.
Okay, but yeah, they the games they've lost. They've been in every game.
Yep, I agree.
You got Notre Dame at 11. Do you think What do you think Notre Dame is going to? Do you think Notre Dame is going to be able to? Do you think Notre Dame is? First of all, do you think they'll make the playoffs? I think they'll make the playoffs because obviously they're independent schools, so they don't have to worry about a conference championship.
Yep.
So I think that's going to be a shoe-in for them in the playoffs. But my next question is, do you think they can hang with these other teams in the playoffs? No. I don't think so either. I think they're because they're off. I don't think their offense I don't think they got a top caliber offense.
They don't. Like
they don't have that go-to. Their defense is good, but I don't think they have. Like if you look at Ohio State's passing game and running game is good. You look at Penn State's running game is good. You look at Georgia is good all around. You look at Alabama's offense is good all around. So you got these other teams like that, and Notre Dame is essentially their defense is helping them win games.
I agree.
Iowa State is number 12.
I know. They steady.
They've been, like I said, they've been steady. LSU number 13. LSU is kind of up and down.
And look, they're working their way back up the rankings, though.
They are, because they're number 13, but SEC is ready to start. So it's going to get interesting for them.
That's right.
BYU is quietly undefeated.
That's one of my fan favorites, though. I ain't going to lie. I like BYU.
And they got, if I'm not mistaken, they're playing Colorado within the next 2 weeks, aren't they? Next 2 or 3 weeks.
It's gonna be a big game for Colorado.
Yes, Colorado is gonna have to. If Colorado beats Kansas State, I think that'll put them in top 25.
You talking about Colorado?
Yeah.
If they beat Kansas State and turn around and beat BYU,
I think if they beat both,
that's what I'm saying. Your prediction can become true if they beat both.
If they beat both, that'll put them in top 15, I think.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they right there at the line for the college football playoffs. Yeah.
Yes. So, but I think if they beat Kansas State next week, I think that's going to put them in top 25. Because if you look at the full rankings, last week they were ranked like number third, like right at 32, 33, something like that.
Yeah.
So I think that'll push them up. Who else? We already talked about a couple of these teams. Boise State, number 17.
Can't skip Utah.
Utah's number 16. Boise State 17. Boise State only has one loss.
Yep.
Indiana is undefeated. But is Indiana's team as good as their record, or is it the competition they've played so far?
It's a mixture of both. Do I think they should be this high? No. But do I think this works? Yes.
Yeah. Then you got Kansas State and Oklahoma right behind them. Kansas State, like I said, Kansas State is a good football team. Kansas State has always been quietly a decent team.
What rankings you got? I got the FBS rankings. Which ones you looking at?
FBS.
Okay, all right.
Well, what do you have?
I got Kansas State at 18, 19 Indiana, 20 Oklahoma, 21 Mizzou.
Okay, see on mine it shows 18 is Indiana, then Kansas State, then Oklahoma.
Okay, all right.
And then Mizzou at 21.
Yeah, Mizzou's at 21. Yep.
Okay. Then you got Pittsburgh at number 22.
Correct.
Undefeated.
What conference they in?
They are
ACC, right?
ACC.
Mm-hmm.
So they got some games coming up.
Yes, sir.
Because they play Cal and Syracuse, SMU, who's jumped into the rankings.
Yep.
Virginia, Clemson Clemson's coming into their own now. Then they got Louisville, who just dropped out of the top 25. But then they got Boston College, who Boston College was ranked. So Boston College is a decent team.
And they always a tough team too. Boston College is always a tough out.
Yep. And then to finish out, you got Illinois, Michigan, and SMU. Do you think Michigan will jump back into playoff contention?
Playoff? Playoffs? No.
I think for it to happen, they're going to have to win those games that they can't. Like they're going to have to beat Penn State. They're going to have to beat Ohio State.
They can't.
Their offense. I don't think their offense is good enough. Their defense is good, but I don't think their offense is good enough to beat those teams.
They've already lost a conference game, right?
Yes.
And that's going to hurt them.
Yeah, I think so.
They got to win out.
Yep, that's what I said. They got to beat, and you still got to run through Ohio State, Penn State.
Yep.
Because Ohio State is probably their last game of the season, which is Ohio State last game of the season.
Yep.
So, and shoot, next week they got Illinois. That's going to be a good game because Illinois is not a pushover.
I agree. Illinois is one of the teams like every 5 to 8 years they put out a good team. Yeah. This is 8th year.
Then after that they got Michigan State. I think they should beat Michigan State, but they've been having trouble with teams we think they should beat.
Yep.
Then they finished the season out though with Oregon, Indiana, Northwestern, and Ohio State.
Nah, they're not going to make it.
Because Oregon's going, they're not going to be Oregon.
Yep.
Indiana, the way they've been playing, they're not going to be Indiana, and I definitely don't think they're going to beat Ohio State.
Yeah, they're going to lose 2 out of them at least.
I think so too. But I think we've got some good games that's actually ready to come up.
This week, I'm looking at this week's schedule, right? For the top 25 teams. Okay, you got Texas versus Oklahoma. Good game.
That's going to be a good game.
It's going to be a good game. Ohio State versus Oregon. That's going to be a good game.
That's going to be a really good game.
Yeah. Penn State, USC. USC,
I I think that's going to be a good game. I think USC just dropped out of the top because they lost yesterday.
Yeah. Georgia going to get a win. Alabama, South Carolina be a good game too. Tennessee play Florida. Florida has been playing better though. I will say
yes,
that.
They have.
Ole Miss versus LSU.
Ole Miss and LSU. That's going to be a good game. I think that's going to be a good one.
I want to call it, but I ain't going to do it.
Huh?
I want to call it, man. I want to say LSU going to get that win.
I don't know. It's hard because Ole Miss, it depends on which Ole Miss team you get.
That's what I know.
Who else? Kansas State, Colorado.
Clemson going to kill Wake Forest.
Who?
Clemson going to kill Wake Forest.
I think so, yeah.
Notre Dame, Stanford. That's always a good matchup.
It is. It is. It is usually a good man. That's no matter how good either one of the teams are.
Yep. You got Iowa State versus West Virginia.
That'll be a good game. Arizona played BYU this week. Arizona may give BYU a run.
At that, man. Arizona, man. Arizona, one of them teams you never know who's going to show up.
Yes, and even with Mississippi State and Georgia, I think Georgia's going to win. But sometimes it's hard with the SEC because SEC teams play each other different than they do anybody else.
Now, I was scrolling down the list and saw this, right? Pitt versus Cal. That's going to be a good game.
It is. I think Pitt's going to win it, but I think that's going to be a good game.
Okay.
Because Cal their offense didn't look too good yesterday against Pitt State.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is I think that matchups make, good matchups. This is going to be one of the games that it's a good matchup.
That's true. So, yeah, I think next week is going to be interesting. But over the next couple of weeks, I think we're going to start to be able to see kind of more of a playoff picture.
Yep.
Once we start seeing these teams actually play same teams that are on their caliber level.
Yes.
So right. I think it's definitely going to get interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how Alabama responds.
It's going to be interesting to see the Ohio State-Oregon game, man.
That's going to be the game of the week because when does that game come on? Saturday at 7:30. That's definitely going to be a must watch because.
Antonio, hold up. You might have to catch that game.
Yes. Yes. But that's going to be a good one because whichever one loses is going to drop out of the top 5.
That's true.
Unless something crazy happens.
Well, we don't know that. Based off how Alabama only dropped to number 7.
That's true.
So they might drop to 5,
That's true. And who else? I think that's going to be
those are big games. Yeah.
Yeah, those are games next week. But yeah, that one is definitely going to be a must watch next week.
Out of those games, what is a sleeper team to win?
Sleeper.
I'm looking at the schedule, right? And I'm gonna call this, and I might be totally wrong. Last week got it right. I'm gonna pick Stanford to beat Notre Dame.
Okay. I'm gonna say this.
Uh-oh.
And the only reason I'm gonna say this because they always play great against each other.
Okay.
And I think the game can go either way, but I think it might be an upset. I'm gonna call Oklahoma over Texas.
Okay, I like it. Like
I said, it's a tough one because Texas could come out and just blow them out the water. But Oklahoma always plays good against Texas for the most part.
I ain't betting against Arch Manning right now.
Oh, I'm not either. Yeah. Is he still playing? Is Quinn Ewers still out?
I don't know.
Okay.
If I see Arch Manning playing, I ain't betting against him.
And then Alabama's I was playing South Carolina. South Carolina, Alabama responds.
Yep.
Because Alabama has not played excellent in the first quarter, in the first half this year against these unranked teams.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting.
I think Alabama got to come out this week, and they're going to have to, just put their foot on their neck. Like
they came out against Georgia?
Yes, but keep it going the whole game.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then even second half, at least control the clock.
Yeah.
Because that's when they messed up with Georgia. And when they let Georgia, obviously they still beat Georgia, but letting Georgia come back is when they keep passing the ball and you're getting these incomplete passes and you're stopping the clock. Like just run the ball, run the clock out.
And they can run the ball all day. They really can.
Yes, because you got a running quarterback, you got multiple running backs, and your receivers. You got the jet sweep around with your receivers.
Yep.
You got some of the fastest receivers in college football. Like you got to work the clock, especially if you know you're not a second half team against certain schools. Like you got to work the clock and work it in your favor.
I agree, man.
Anything else we missing about college football for this week?
That's all I got, man. We missing Davis this week. That's about it.
Yeah, he'll be back next week once Alabama get that dub back. He'll be back.
He'll be back when Alabama win. Okay, I got you. If they lose, what's gonna happen?
If they lose, he might not be back then.
When he do come back, we gotta talk about it though.
See what the breakdown was.
Yeah, he gonna give it to us,
But yeah, I think we're definitely gonna be back next week because next week is gonna be interesting.
Yep.
I called my upset. You called yours. We'll see if either one of us right.
Hey man, I was right last week. Let's make it 2-0. Let's do it.
Yeah, you were. If we ain't got nothing else, like we always tell y'all, this is more than a podcast. We handing out crowns.
Hand them out.
Who the lover, who the hate? Who the realest in my circle? Who the one who be the snakes? Who gon' fold up under pressure? Who gon' understand the stakes? Who gon' wait to get they food to try to take from off my plate? Who the love? Who gon' understand I'm hurt? Who gon' love me unconditionally and try to make it work? Who gon' party once I'm gone and shed a tear once I'm in dirt? I ain't asking for too much, I'm trying to understand my worth.